So by far the best and safest way to secure fireworks, especially cakes and candles, is with a wooden stake on the ground. So when we do this, ideally you want to be using what we call a cake board, which is just an offcut of wood. And then you place your cake on the board, take your wooden stake, bang it into the ground, and then taking your tape, you can use gaffer tape or clear tape. Don't use masking tape because it's paper, but a good strong cloth tape like this, and just literally wrap it a couple of times around the firework, and it's nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. Now what you want to make sure is a couple of things to make sure you do when you're using this method is always make sure your stake goes between the firework and you, the audience. That way if the firework was to malfunction and fall over, it can only fall to the side or backwards away from your audience. It can never fall forward. The other thing to do as well is always make sure that you observe where the fuse is on the firework when you're securing it to the stake. Here the fuse is about halfway down, which is why I've taped it around the top here. If you wanted to, sometimes with a larger cake or a taller cake, it's also worthwhile just moving the cake to the corner of the board and sticking an extra stake in, just to give you that, when you wrap the tape round, it gives you that extra bit of stability. Now obviously if you haven't got tape, you can always use some garden wire. Make sure it's like a metal core wire, and again wrap that round the firework and secure it in that way. Or if you wanted to, you could use some cable ties. But that is by far the best way to secure a straight up cake. Now if we were using a fanned cake, let's just cut this cake off. Again, when you're finished with the firework, that's as easy as it is to remove the spent firework from the stake, and you can reuse the stake that you've already got in the ground. But when you're using a fanned firework and you're using the like this, and you've got your cake there, don't ever put a stake to the side of it, because again you've got the angle of the fan, and the bombettes from that fan can come out, hit the stake, ricochet off, and end up going not where you want them to. So when you're firing a fanned cake, only ever stake it in the front, and sometimes it's best to put 2 stakes in the front and tape it round, and it will give it that extra bit of stability. But that's by far the best way of securing a firework cake. Now what about Roman candles? Now Roman candles, the same principle. You take your Roman candle, you can put it behind the stake between the audience and you, so you can just about see this one here, and then you can obviously use your tape again if you want, or a cable tie at the top and further down to secure it to the stake. But again, don't put it to the side, because if that fails and it falls over, it can fall towards your audience. Just always make sure that that firework, or the stake rather, is between the firework and the audience, so it can minimise any problems should they occur. So there we are with our candle like that. So the best way to secure a Roman candle to your stake: cable ties again, garden wire, or some strong gaffer tape.